Can I ask why it doesn't equal infinity? I'm thinking of 1 over x. For every string x would become larger and larger towards infinity at a limit, no? Okay, let's have a look. The question is, how come 1 divided by 0 does not equal infinity? And I'll tell you the answer is that. If you answer this as infinity, then you are not doing a regular computation for 1 divided by 0. What you are doing is actually a limit question, and there's a big difference. And let me explain. So, 1 divided by 0, the 0 is a trouble number. Instead of divided by 0, we'll do the following. We start with the table. Let's pick some x values, and let's put 1 over x, which is the same as 1 divided by 0. Let's start at positive 1. 1 over 1 here, that's just going to be 1. That's totally doable. Now, I'm trying to get to 1 divided by 0. This is 1 divided by 1. Of course, there's a big difference. What I can do is, let's pick the x to be a smaller number towards 0. So let's try 0.1. You can also do 0.5, but 0.1 is even better and easier. Because here, 1 over 0.1, we don't even need a calculator. The answer is just 10. Good. But this is still 0.1. It's not the same as 0, right? The advantage of doing this is that at least this is doable. But I'm trying to get a better result, right? So why don't we make the x value even smaller? Let's try 0.01. Then that's 1 over 0.01. And the answer for that is 100. Okay, as you can see, if we keep on going and keep on going, eventually what we're trying to get to is this number is going to be close to 0 as possible, right? You can put 0.00001 and then just do 1 divided by that, and you'll see the result is going to be much bigger. Ideally, we're trying to get to 0, and you can see that the result here, it will be approaching infinity. So that's the idea. However though, let me summarize this for you. We are not going to write this down like this. Instead, we have to write down the limit. This shows us that the limit as x approaching 0, because we started at 1, and then it's getting smaller towards 0, of the expression which we are looking at 1 over x. This is equal to infinity. Now, this is almost correct. But I will tell you though, if you answer this as infinity, do not write it like this. So that's why this is not correct. Why did I say this is almost correct? Well, the answer is because, remember, if we are looking at 0, let's look at number line. Here is 0. Earlier we started at 1, which is right here. And then 0.1, it's like right here. 0.001, it's even closer, right? This is 0.01. This is how we can go from 1 towards 0 from the right direction. But what if we started at -1, which is the other direction? To get to a number on the number line, there are two directions, from the right or from the left. So if we're just doing this right here, we call this x approaching 0 from the positive direction. We put a little plus right there, which is you start from the right hand side and then you go towards 0. What if we started at the left hand side, such as -1, and then we go towards 0 then? Let's have a look. So let's do the same thing. X here and then 1 over x. This time we started at -1. We get 1 over -1. That is -1. Okay, I want to get to 0. So let's say I'm somewhere here. Let's say this is -0.1, which is going to give us the result. -10. Continue. Let's get to 0 even closer. 0.01, but negative. This is 1 over -0.01, and we will get -100. So as you can see, it's going to be the same story like what we did earlier. This time though, the left-hand side here, for this column here, the goal is we are trying to get to 0, just like what we did over there. And the result here is -1, -10, -100, negative big number, and so on, so on, so on. The result here, we will get -infinity, and that's what this is approaching. Right here, what we are going to write is the limit as x approaching 0 from the negative direction, or from the left-hand side of 1/x. And the answer for this is -infinity. This is correct, just like that. So be careful though, when x is going towards 0, this is technically 0 with a little plus, okay? And then this right here is actually 0 with a little negative, like that. Okay, here is like the picky part though, because unfortunately, when x is going towards 0 from the positive direction, this result, it's not the same result as x going to 0 from the negative direction. Because this is positive infinity, that's negative infinity, so they are not equal. Therefore, I will have to tell you, if you look at the limit as x approaching 0 without plus or minus of 1/x here, we are going to answer this as does not exist, D and E. There's no limit because the right limit and the left limit does not agree. Yeah. So be careful though, if you are doing a limit question, this has an answer infinity, this limit has an answer -infinity. This limit, you say it does not exist. It's kind of like there's no answer for this limit. Now, going back to the computational question, if you're just looking at 1 divided by 0, it's undefined because there's no answer for that. Let's see why. Now we are going to figure out the answer to 1/0, if that's even possible. But before that, we are going to do some quick reviews. This time we are not going to do long division because we did that already in the last video. Check that out if you haven't done so already. Here, let's say if we have 16/2, which is the same as 16 divided by 2. What's the answer for that? It's 8. Why? Because 16 is equal to 8 times 2. 8 times 2 gives us 16. It works. So 8 is the answer. Yeah. Now, if you use the same idea to do this question, let's say 0/5, what's the answer? You will just have to think about what times 5 will give us 0. And the answer for that is 0. Because 0 times 5 gives us that 0. 0 times anything does give us 0. So it works. That means this is the answer. Now we're ready to tackle that question. We are trying to figure out what 1/0 is. A lot of people say the answer is equal to 1 in my previous video, so let's check it out. Well, we will have to check. Does this one equal this one times this 0? I don't think so, because 1 times 0 is 0. That's not equal to 1, so that's not correct. That means this is not equal to 1. Well, let's try again. 1/0 is the answer 0? Well, again, let's check it. Does 1 equal this 0 times that 0? Of course not. 0 times 0 is 0. That's not equal to 1. This is not correct. That means this is not correct. Do you want to try again? How about 1/0? Does that equal 17? Let's see. Does 1 equal 17 times 0? Of course not. 17 times 0 is 0. That's not equal to 1. So this is not correct. That means that's not correct. So as you can see, no matter what you put right here, the moment you multiply by 0, the result is just 0. You can never get to 1. So when we have 1 divided by 0, we cannot divide it by 0. The answer for that, we say, is undefined. And it works the same for any other numbers on the top. You can have 5/0, the answer will be undefined. 125 divided by 0, that's also undefined. Yep, we cannot divide it by 0 because of this.